Okay, very good. So welcome to this second session on how to draft MOU and on the MOU module under the Uniform Capability Management Solution. So yesterday we have seen how navigate in the system. I've showed you different features that we have there, such as the global lookup, the system document. I also showed all the overview of UCM and the processes, right? The main presentation was based on how to create an MOU from an SUR. So this is actually the ideal situation where everything is in line and the procedure, the process is going smoothly, right? So we have the SUR and we can link it to an MOU. Today we will see the case where you would have to draft an MOU without an SUR. What are the process? Okay. So, but before going into the into the content of the session, I would like to pause a little bit and think about what we have seen yesterday and actually test you. And I have prepared a few questions that I would like you to answer, or to take the time to answer. I will give you a few minutes. Do not worry, it's very quick questions, and then we will see if you understood and if you still have questions on what we have seen yesterday. So I will open my pool now, and you should see on your screen a pop-up with 3 different questions. And cool, okay. If you do not see the pop-up, please let me know. And I would just like to ask you to answer to those 3 questions. Very simple, right? And we have 2.5 minutes to do that. So I just wait for you guys to go through the questions. Okay, 1 minute left for those who did not have the chance to answer to the 3 questions that you see on your screen. Just want to highlight Krishna and the team over there that Shilda is connected, but I do not see her audio connected, so she might have some trouble hearing us or being able to follow. And the questions would need to be answered directly in the pop-up that you see, okay? Once I close the pooling, I will close this short survey. You should be able to see the right answers, and then we go through it again together. Okay, time is over. So The system is pulling all the answers. Thank you for your participation. That was not difficult, right? If you were with us yesterday, those questions might be very easy. I don't know if you are able to see the answers on your screen now. Danny, I don't know if you can please.
Yes. Yes, we can see the answers and the bar graph.
Fantastic. Okay, so back to the questions. I think most of you got it right, especially for the first one. So the SOPs and templates can be found under the system document part. Okay. For those who answered global lookup, actually global lookup is the part where most of the data, the master data, are generated, stored, if I may say, and you can have a view on. That's the global lookup is where you can also create locations as we have seen. However, the templates and SOP are under system document. So we also seen and mentioned yesterday that most of the MOU is created in the system. However, the MOU main body is the template is in the system, but you would have to update it and adapt it outside the system. And we've seen also that the system allows us to track the different actions that we do on an MOU. And this specific tracking is done under the Audit Trail tab of your MOU. Voila. I hope that was clear, and I think most of you got it right. So thank you for participating in this pooling questions. So as I said, today we will see how we can create an MOU without having an SUR. And we've seen yesterday the process where an SUR is existing. Let's see how is the process today without an SUR, okay? And so actually this will look like this. So we will, the steps are more or less similar. However, instead of having all the annexes imported from the SUR, we would have to create it. So the main, I would say, part, the main difference is somehow done at this level, okay, where you create the Annex A, B, and C from scratch, okay. But I think you are now familiar with the process and with the different steps and how we break it down step by step, showing you what to do and what are the steps to follow in the system. I will not go through the PowerPoint. I will actually stop it here. And I will go directly in the system and I will show you how this works. Okay? So you are familiar with the logging process. Oh, it happens sometimes. Interesting. Okay, let me close and open my browser again. Okay. Let me try with another browser. Yeah, with Google Chrome should work better. But that happens. So, oh no.
Hey, Titus?
Yes.
Let's, if you can try that, because I was just able to log in, and it seems to work okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's just maybe me and my brother. Here you go. See, Chrome works better. So thanks, thank you. So the process to start and create an MOU without an SUR is, as I said, very similar to what we have seen yesterday. Okay, so we navigate to the MOU screen, and we start the same process. So we click on New. What I forgot to mention, and this is something done even before, we need to see if we have a note verbal, and we will see where to put this note verbal in your MOU. Okay. So, however, the process is quite similar. You have to once you click on New, you have a new line item. Okay, and you have at the bottom an MOU form that is empty, and you fill in your data. And I will try to do that with the different data. And here I want to choose my unit name for the police, and the system shows me the different units available for my mission. And actually, I realized that my unit is not there. Okay, and that's what we are going to see today, and it's also part of the exercise. And this is something that the system allows us to do. If we realize that a unit is not existing in our system, we can actually request for a new unit to be created. And how do we do that? Is very simply by, you see on the bottom of the screen, in my MOU form, you have a request for new unit button, and you need to click on it, and then you will have a pop-up, okay? And then you choose a country. Since we do not create an MOU from SUR, we do not have any SUR name, but we do have a name for our units. So we need to enter all those information there, okay? And then once we have all the data entered, we click on Submit. And then the system is processing the request, okay? Here you go. An automatic message will appear giving you the request number, and if it has been successfully launched or not. And you have it there in the system message. So you can close this this pop-up, and actually you can take note of the request number. But in the meantime, I don't know if you noticed, but once the system has approved my request, the service request number has been also automatically generated in my MOU form. So you can have it here. Okay, and you can follow up as well on your request with service request statute. So it's still open, meaning that you have or the team is managing it. And once they will approve it, normally the service request statute would be like closed or something like that. But you can follow up and track your request. Okay, so this is actually the case where you do not have a unit. And as you can see, my unit name is still blank because I still need the guys to validate my request and create this unit for me. And once it will be done, the unit name will be displayed in this field here, and then the country, because I created a unit for Albania, it will be displayed here. Okay. As seen yesterday, the effective date is actually automatically by default the date of the creation of your MOU. And then all that is still pending because you do not have your unit. And as you can see, the difference, we are not going to insert any SUR at this point. So to go further, what you would need to do is to open your MOU. And there, it's almost the same process than yesterday. You would have to insert the locations. I mean, we've seen yesterday how to do that. And if there is no, like for this case, there is no location. But in the meantime, my unit is not there yet, so the country has not been identified, so he cannot give me any embarking or disembarking place or location. But yes.
Yes, Zaira. Ines is asking in the chat, who exactly has the authority to authorize the creation of the unit itself? So who is basically going to approve that master data element in the system?
Good question. I will leave that to Krishna. I think, and if I'm not wrong, is the service desk request or service. I just leave that to Krishna.
Perfect. Over to you. Thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. If you can, Hammond, that would be good if you can approve my request. Then we can see them the difference in the status of the service request. I will come back to the authorization of the creation of the units at a later stage. Okay, so I know that I am creating an MOU for units based in Albania, okay? And we've seen yesterday how to create locations. What I would like to do is very quickly check on my global lookup, permanent nation, Albania, and I see that there's no location, so I can create, no, sorry. Not on the right. I went too fast. I apologize. I need to go to location. Oh no, see? Tirana is there. Tirana is there. Okay, good. So once my request and my unit will be created, I will be able to select then the location. Perfect. Let me find back. Okay, back to my MOU. We'll closed. Here you go. Hammond has, I think you guys have approved my unit request. So normally, if I'm not mistaken, I should find it. Here. You see, training unit demo. And now I can select it. And based on the element that I have entered once creating it, the different fields are populated. You see that it's a unit category, it's for police, the country is Albania, and I have a unit code for it. Okay. I think now, if I go to add location, I will be able to select Tirana, because the system recognized that the unit is going from Albania, right? And here you go. So this is the, your MOU header. Another thing that I mentioned was that you should make sure that you have a note verbal and that you have received it, and you have updated the note verbal status: accepted, cleared, received. And you should also put the date of your note verbal. You can also, let's put like a random date, okay? You should also attach this to your MOU, as we've seen yesterday, by going to attachment, click on new file, and you are able to browse and select any of the documents that you want. Okay? So this is the main part of the MOU header. Now you need to create and continue the creation of your MOU by inserting the different annexes A, B, and C. But before going further, Danny, any questions that we need to address?
Hello, Saida. Hello to all participants. Related to the previous question on if there is a workflow, right, or who is going to authorize the creation of master data, there is an answer in the chat from Krishna, very comprehensive, so I will not go through it, but I will invite you guys to take a look at the chat, or copy and paste or download the chat for further information on the creation of master data. Over to you.
Fantastic, thank you. Okay, so now we have created our MOU header. We are able to create the different annexes, and actually it's very similar to what we have done yesterday, by going annex by annex, creating it, clicking on new, updating the data, and you see that the version is number 1. You see that effective date is the date of creation, and boom, 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 you see that the MOU details and the number is put there. Okay. Once you have created the header, you are able to add line items. As we did yesterday, okay? Okay. And you can add as many line items as needed. So this is for the Annex A. And I will show you 2 new features that I have not mentioned yesterday, but I would like you to pay attention to, is And you will have those features for every single annex, but I will only do that for Annex A. You have the ability to create different phases for the deployment of your units. Okay, so and this is applicable for A, B, and Annex A, B, and C. How to do that? It's actually by clicking on Phase Deployment button. So imagine your 200 people are not able to be deployed at this, all together on the date that you need them to be. So you would need to create different phases, and that's how you will do it. You click on Phase Deployment, there is a pop-up appearing, and then you need to tell the system when this phase will start. Okay, let's put it like the 1st September. And then you submit. And once you submit, you have 2 line items there. And you need to specify the total number of personalized per phase. You see? So imagine the first phase. You can this is oops. So this is the second one, starting on the 1st of September. You say that 100%, 100 people can be deployed from the 1st of September, but your whole unit is actually 200, so you need to make an adjustment. Okay, so you need first to create your first line item, and then as you've seen, the moment I created the phase, the first line expired. So this is interesting. So this is the different phases that you would have to create. And if I'm not mistaken, you also need for every single phase to create line items and accordingly, okay? So the line items are linked to the Annex header. Okay. Can I remove a phase if created by mistake? Very good question. I've never done it. Then I don't know. I don't know if the system allows me to do that. Let me see if this. Let me look into it, and then I will come back to you on that one, because I've never tested it that way. So that's a very good question. Okay, I wrote it down. Okay, so once your Annex.
Yes, Saida, just before you move on, Krishna answered in the chat that you will not be able to delete a phase, but what you can do is you can expire or you can deactivate the phase, but you will not be able to delete the record itself.
Oh, okay. Okay. So I would need to expire it. Interesting. Okay, very good point. Let's see how this works. Okay, let me system now is not allowing me to go further. Let me definitely go back to you on that one. Okay, my system now.
Yeah, well, you're going through the trying to log in again. Krishna is saying that yes, in some aspects, and unfortunately, there is no much of an option to delete some records in the system, and that's usually due to the link between the various documents. For example, if the annex is linked to an SUR, or if the annex is previously was linked to a VR. So what you can do is you can expire the record, but you cannot delete it.
Okay, very good. Okay, let me go back. But very good point, because we will definitely come back to that with a written answer, and hopefully we will be able to. That is my unit. That is the MOUs that I was creating. Okay. So once you have created all that, that was one feature that I wanted to mention to you that we haven't seen yesterday. Another one is the Activate Annex button. Once you have done and finished all your annexes and it's good to go, you need to make them you need to activate it to be able for the others to see it and also to use it in the different process of the UCM. Okay, so for example, for calculation or claim, you will not be able to use a non-activate annex. So once the process is all final, you need to activate it just by clicking on the button, and then you have a pop-up mentioning that it has been successfully done. Okay, and once you have activated them, they will be visible under the MOU annexes, and that is the tab or the screen that some of you were mentioning or only seeing at a certain moment. So let's see if I can find back. Let me. Here you go. So you can see the two annexes that I have created, Annex A, the two different phases, and you can see here that one is activated and the other not. Okay. So if you want to see and have more information on your annexes, you can find them there under MOU annexes. So now let's go back to my MOU and continue the process. Those two, as I mentioned, those two buttons are on every annex, Annex A, B, and C, and it's the same. So once you have done the Annex A header and line items, you go to Appendix and you do the same than yesterday, and you create Appendix for every single phases that you have there. Okay. You see that I've created an appendix for the first phase, but I also need to do that for my second phase. Okay, and then you need to enter the quantity needed per item, etc., etc. Okay. So this is for Annex A and its appendix. So this is quite similar to what we have seen yesterday. And once you have done this, you can then navigate to Annex B. And the difference from yesterday is that this tab is completely empty now, and you have to start from scratch. Before going into Annex B, is there any question, Danny?
Yes, hi, Saida. Well, a couple of comments from Krishna. He's saying that the active flag controls visibility of the annex. It's a very important process in terms of MOU management because it's important to have visibility of this in order to undertake these inspections and generate VRs against the appropriate annex. And it has a direct tie to the reimbursements as well. So keep an eye on this flag, active flag. And then we have a question from Francis Baker, but I don't know whether it is linked to this part of the session, but it's related to the major equipment and COE, and I think that Krishna is already answering in the chat, so it's not applicable for this part of the session. I'm not mentioning it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so back to Annex B, right? And let's see how this works. As I said, you have to create it from scratch, and you have first to create your header, which was there yesterday, and we didn't have to do it, but today we have, and we have to enter the same information, the effective date, etc. And we also have to check the environment factor, which has been automatically populated, and it's information from the global lookup, right? As well as the price list. You can edit this based on when your MOU is starting and things like that. And once you have this and you save it, you can either click anywhere else, or Control S will save your record. Okay, and then now you have your MOU header created, and maybe you have noticed that once you have your MOU header, the phased deployment button has been activated. So you're also able to create phases. I will not do that here, but you're also able to create phases for Annex B. For every single phase, you have to insert the different items. But let's start first with one phase, right? With one Annex B header, and insert the different major equipment items. And you have at the bottom of the screen this add multiple major equipment item. Just click on it and then select the items that you want or need, and you can do that. You can multiple select the major equipment and add them. You don't have to add them one by one. So once you insert them, the system tells you that your request has been successfully applied. But you don't need to leave this pop-up until you finish. So imagine that you need containers, so you can add containers without leaving the pop-up, okay, and so on, and then you can continue the selection of your equipment. You can also launch a query or run a query, okay, if you have a specific item in mind, you can do that. And you can query by category, by subcategory, or the project description, Okay. And once you have finished, then you just close your pop-up and you have all the elements or projects that you have chosen. They're all automatically displayed and linked to your header, to your Annex B header. What you would have, what I would like you to notice is that yesterday we've seen this SUR column was filled in, and today it's blank. What you would need to do is to enter the quantity needed per item. I'm just putting random numbers to show you how the system is working, because you can see that based on the equipment, certain calculations are already done, the monthly reimbursement, etc. So you see that here we go. What you would also need to do, and the system is recording, saving all your records. Okay. What you also need to do is to select the lease type. By default, the system will put all your equipment as wet lease, but you need to adapt this, and based on the selection and based on your need, the calculation and the reimbursement will be done. Okay. I am putting random numbers and random information at the moment just to show you how the system reacts. I think that is the main part for the Annex B header and line items. Once you have created that, and normally you should, let me put numbers on everything just to make sure that I have enough information to continue the demo. Here you go. Okay. So you have all your equipment set. Now you can go to Appendix. To Annex B. Yes.
So we might need to pause for a few moments. We've been called for a fire drill. I'm hoping it shouldn't take more than 10 minutes or so.
Okay. Okay, I will pause the recording as well. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right.
Here we go.
Saida?
Yes.
Yes, Philippe is saying if you could back a little bit, because some of the students left while you were still talking, so maybe just assume just moments before you actually stopped. Okay, over to you.
I was, yeah, thank you, Danny. I was about to go back to where we were. So, but no worries, because I'm recording, and so you might have this on the video. So we were at Annex B, right? And we created the header, and then once we have created the header by clicking on New, we were able to insert the line items, actually, to add the multiple major equipment, to add major equipment, and you can do that by clicking on Add Multiple Major Equipment Item. So you can select the items needed, and then add them. Click on Add. You can query, launch your query, and find the equipment that you want, and then click on Add. You can select different items, and once you've done, you can close the pop-up, and all the items will be there. The items will be displayed one after the other, and as you can see, comparing to yesterday session, the quantity SUR quantity column is empty. But however, you need to update and mention the quantity of the item that you have selected. Okay. And you do that line by line. What you also need to do is to select the lease type for every single item. By default, the system will always put you wet lease. Okay? And so you have, per item, you have to select the right lease type. And based on the lease type, you will see the different reimbursement, the rates, and all the information. Okay, so you do that line by line, and once you have all that, and the system is recording all the changes, as you have seen, I went back and forth, and all my records are there. Now that's where we left, right? Once you're happy with the Annex B, you go and create the appendix, and it's similar to what we have done for Annex A, and similar to what we have done yesterday. So you have your header, and you just add appendix, and the system is pulling all the information based on the annex, the items that you have inserted earlier. Okay, and then here you can edit the different appendix line items by adding or you can delete based on the need. So you can tailor make your appendix and your appendix line item. That is for Annex B. Okay? I'm going a little bit faster because we've seen that part yesterday. So for Annex B, that's more or less it. So you have created all the items, and you have created the appendix. You can also create phases, deployment phases. It's the same than done previously, and you would need to activate the annex once it is all good and you're happy with them, and the annex is in final stages somehow. Okay. There are different other tabs under Annex A, but we will see that tomorrow. I am continuing with my creation of Annex, and I go to Annex C. And I follow the same process, right? So you notice that phase deployment button is inactive. And once I created it, it is active. And then you have to do the same. And once you save your record, the system creates an annex number. And once you have this annex number, you will be able to see under MOU Annex screen. So here you have created the header. Now you are able to populate and create the Annex C line items. And a very handy feature is auto-populate the subsystem categories. So that is how you can easily add all the different SS categories, okay? But you can also create them line by line. But let's see how this auto-populated populate button works. Huh. Okay, why? Why is it telling me this? Okay. um, I don't know what is happening. The system is not allowing me to do that. Why did I do?
Yeah, while you are checking on the system, one of the students, Ropak, has a question on when a new version of the Annex is activated, does it automatically deactivate the other versions? And yes, it does. Only one Annex can be active at any point in time. So yeah, the new version will deactivate the older one. Over to you, Seda.
Thank you. I'm just trying to figure out why. Okay, Annex B, Annex C. Here you go. So, okay, it was just a screen problem. So I went back to my, so sometimes it might happen, but do not worry about that. I am in the training environment, so sometimes I need to reduce certain steps. But if that happens, you just have then to go back or log out and log in again, and then you will find back all the records that you have done on your MOU. Okay, so actually we were not able to. I mean, I don't know. The system didn't allow us to see how it auto-populates, but you can see all the different categories. The SS are displayed because I clicked on auto-populate button, and what you would have to do is to insert you need to insert the number of personnel and fill in line by line, okay, like we did yesterday. You updated it, but this time you need to fill in line by line all the information for every single item that you have selected. And once you have auto-populated, I mean, sometimes some of the line items are not needed. For example, you don't need communication telephone, or you don't need this one, so you just delete it. Okay, and so that I think that is quite handy, because if you have like several line items, you don't have to add them one by one. It's easy to delete few than adding like 100. And as we've seen yesterday, you per line item you would have also to add if to mention if there is any additional supported personnel, and that's on the right part of your screen that you do that. And then you select the unit that you are supporting, and you entered the number of personnel. And you should be able to see let's refresh the page. Let's try again. Okay, today it doesn't want to. Sometimes it happens. But usually you would see the numbers per line item. If you have additional supported personnel, you would be able to see it under this column. And then the system will automatically sum up the total personnel that you are. Maybe let's try with this, another one. Okay. Let's see if before for every single line item you would need to. Yes, Danny.
Yes, Krishna is saying to try to press Control S to see the record saves and then updates the values.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see if here you go. Very good one. So actually, to be able to see the calculation, you would need to have the whole line. That is, I'm still discovering a few things here and there. So you need to have all the information per line item to be able to see the final calculation. Okay, hope that makes sense. So normally the system requires you to have, it's a mandatory field to say who's the service provider. Okay, let me do a quick then I don't have to let's see if this works. Yes, here you go. That is for the Annex C. It might, the process, as you see, takes a little bit more time than what we have done yesterday, because yesterday was like auto-populated from your SUR. But the steps are quite similar. Okay. Once you have done all that, and normally every single line item that you have there should be like completed, you need to create your appendix to Annex C. And it's again the same process. You add you click to add appendix, and then you need to fill in the different line items that you see on the right part of your screen. You need to put the quantity, and you also are able to insert the remarks, if any. And as you see here, and this is something that I did not mention, but we will see how to report, how to extract your annex and your appendix. And we will see that we will see that now. Let me just check if I have covered everything. So we have Annex B, Annex A, Annex B, Annex C. We have added the appendix. You know how to insert an attachment. The document part, we will see that tomorrow. The note part, we have seen that yesterday. And actually, it's a very handy tool where you are able to insert different notes, official or internal notes, sorry, during the negotiation process, okay? So this is quite similar than what we have done yesterday. And then the last tab, as we've seen as well yesterday, is the audit trail, where you see all the steps that have been done under this MOU and when it has been done. So I think that is the main part of the creation of an MOU. Now, what I would like to show you is how to report and how to extract your MOU and appendix. Okay, so let's do that with Annex B. And actually, the part that I'm going to see now, the information were shared with you yesterday in the PowerPoint that I have sent to you. So if you forgot how to export or how to run a report, please go back to yesterday PowerPoint, okay? But I'm showing that today because we did not have the time yesterday, and I think it is also part of the exercise that I'm going to ask you. It's to export the annexes and to put them back in the system, or once signed and things like that. Okay. I will just pause here before I launch the reports. Where is mine? Okay. Danny, is there anything that we need to address?
Well, actually, yes, Robak had a question on the service provided by, whether it's related to additional personnel, but it's already answered in the chat from Krishna. I copy and paste the question and the answer so everyone is fully aware of that feature. So no additional, besides that, no additional comments. Over to you.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so I hope the process of creation of the process of creation of an MOU is now clear. We will see how you can report, how you can extract your MOU, your annexes, okay, and the appendix. So actually, once your MOU and you want to extract it, it's quite easy and quite simple. In the PowerPoint, you've seen that it's like in 10 steps and you have your report. So you need to navigate to the appendix, to the annex that you want, or to the parts that you want to export, and you need to select the item that you want to export, and then you click on the little graph that is on top of your screen. You have there close to the globe, you have reports, and that's where you need to click on to export your Annex B. And as you see, I've clicked on it and an automatic pop-up appeared on the side, and the system generated automatically a name for me. So he's telling me I am going to export the MOU Annex B report. Okay. I can customize my the name of the document, and I can also choose, because there are several formats that I can export. But I think best practice would recommend you to export that as a PDF, because normally you export your annex as final X, apart if you need to edit it. And once you have all those fields filled in, you just click on Submit. And then I clicked on My Report. I don't know if you've seen it. So you submit and then you click on My Report. And when I clicked on My Report, the system brought me to my BIP report part. And this is a part that I have not seen yesterday because we did not have the time, but this is also another very handy feature where actually all the reports generated by the system, are stored. Okay, and you can see that I have generated several reports before, but the one that I just did now is the first line there, and you can sort them and query and check all the different reports. And by the way, all the reports that you run or you export are saved under my BIP report. So there's no, if you do not delete them, they will remain there. Okay. The system sometimes takes a bit of time to generate the document, which is normal. But normally, give him like 5-10 minutes, and then you will have, you will be able to see, because it's not there yet. And once the system generated the report, you should have like status success, or if not, then it is failed. But and then once generated, you can also see the file size and the output, etc., etc. Okay, and to open it, it's quite easy. You just open on the hyperlink of the report name, and it will be downloaded. Here I'm opening something that I exported, but on a Word, it's a Word document, but you normally should be able, because we exported this as a PDF, right? Remember, so you should be able to open it there. Let me go back to my that's my MOU. So that was the export of Annex B. You can do that with Annex A, but you can also do that with the appendix. You can run a report on your appendix. Okay, here you go. You see, and you submit, and then if you want to see it, you go to my reports, and you see Appendix 1 to Annex A is there and running. Let's go back, and you have to do that each time. So maybe you can export all what you need. I'm just jumping from one screen to another, but you don't have to. You can, for example, export one after the other, and then go to my BIP report and see all the reports that you have run. So you can run, as I said, a report on the annex, export the annex and the appendix. Okay, and one part for the Annex C, the appendix, and as you can see, Appendix 2 is there. So you just click on it, again, click on the little graph, and it will submit and extract the Appendix 2. As for Appendix 1, let me normally, no. To find and export the Appendix 1, you have to go back here to the Annex C line item. Here you go. Okay, so Appendix 2 is under the Appendix to Annex C. That's where you can export it. Appendix 1 would need to be done under the main screen of Annex C line item, and then you run your reports. Let's go and see under my BIP. You see I have exported Annex 1 to Annex C, sorry, Appendix 1 to Annex C, Appendix 2 to Annex C. All the exports are there. Oh, I did that twice. Here you go. Is this all clear? Is there any question that remains unanswered? We have 5 additional minutes, so if you have any questions, just please let me know.
Yes, Aida. For this, now I see now I see a question in the chat in Annex C from Ropak. In Annex C, how did you enter if one category is partially supported by CC and partially by UN? Example, accommodation.
Very good question.
But related to the reports, we had no questions or comments, so it was quite clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let me find out and try to answer to your question, Ropak. Let me create a new. Let me query accommodation. Let's do that together because I think we can create different line items and split that.
Exactly. That's what actually I'm saying in the chat. Cool. So you guys are aligned.
Fantastic. Okay. So we have accommodation, right? Okay, and let me, for example, your unit is for 100 people, okay? So the first part, let's say 20 people, would be accommodated by, or the service provider will be the TPCC, okay? So, and then you enter another one. Oh, what did I do?
Hey Taylor, I believe yes. Accommodation is already listed, so I don't think we allow for more than 2. So if you can query for accommodation, you should now see 2 line items where we can then designate the other line item that was originally added through the auto-populate as UN or another service provider. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's put that as UN indeed. Let's see. Yeah. Here we go. Thank you. I didn't notice. Voila. So indeed, the line items was already existing. So this one, the second one, is the one that I just created by inserting 20. And so then for the rest, it was already service provider CC, so the system didn't allow me to create another line item. So yeah, thank you, Krishna. And so there you put like the remaining personnel. Here we go. I think with this, this is the end of the presentation. I just would like maybe to show you quickly the query part. Okay, let me go back.
Saida?
Yes.
Yes, now that you created another line item for accommodation, in this case for UN, Ropak is asking whether this will result into 2 line items from the same category in the VR for contingency on equipment. And well, we believe that yes, it should result in 2 line items, yes.
Yeah, indeed. Krishna is just answering that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Just one thing, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, just a very quick feature of the navigation that I would like to share with you is the query. And as you might have seen, I have different tabs there, and so for your ease, how to do that, and I think maybe some of you know this feature, but once you query, you can save the query that you do. For example, you are mainly working with UNAMID, and you can save several queries, as I did. So what you would do is to launch a query, then you click on Query Assistant, and a pop-up will appear, and there you enter the fields that you want to search, or the filter. Okay, and then before launching the query, you save it. Okay, and you give it a name, and then you click OK, and then you are able to launch it. And as you see, the system filtered and gives me only the UNAMID MOU, and you can do that in any screen on the UCM. It's always working the same. And as you can see here, now I have on the top right, I have UNAMID. And if I go back to all, the system shows me all the MOUs available in the system. That was just a quick tip that I wanted to share with you. It might save you a lot of time while creating your MOU, and especially if you work on different missions. Okay, I think that's it, and I will stop here because it's 2 minutes past 5, and I would just make sure that I'm sending and explain you the exercise. So we have an exercise prepared for you, as we did yesterday. So today we will ask you to create an MOU from scratch, as I did. Okay, and I will send you the instructions in 1 minute, and I will resend the Excel. So if you go back to the Excel, on the second tab, you should have Day 2 MOU without SUR, and those are the data that you need to create your SUR. And what I would like you also to do is to create a new MOU without the SUR, but also to request for a new unit, and to create a new location. We've seen that yesterday, how to do that. We've seen how to do that today as well. I would like you to practice and create a new location as indicated in the Excel sheet. Okay, and I think that's it. I will stop now the recording.